This is going to be our last devotion in the book of Hebrews. We're looking at how Jesus is really the greatest of all time. And in chapter 11, it's not the end of the book, but really this chapter is the culmination of everything that's come before. And the pastor, the person writing the book, is urging people to keep their faith in Christ, despite their discouragements, despite their doubts. Believe in Him. And one of the things we see clearly is, what does it mean to believe? As we're grappling with the idea of faith, sometimes we need an explanation of what it is to believe. Sometimes we need an example. Sometimes we need a compelling reason to believe. And what we have here in this passage is a compelling explanation of faith and examples of it. But the question for us all is, can we believe? Can we put our faith in Christ? Let me read from Hebrews chapter 11, beginning in verse 1. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. That is what the ancients were commended for. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. By faith, Abel brought God a better sacrifice than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks even though he is dead. By faith, Noah warned about things not yet seen, and holy fear built an ark to save his family. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as an inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear children because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. That's a compelling faith. We have to ask ourselves the question, are we willing to work for, believe in something that we ourselves won't see in our lifetime? I think about my great-grandparents. In 1912, Stefan Mady, when he was 35 years old, emigrated from Hungary to the United States, took his wife, Zofie, and his son, Sandor. They were peasants in Hungary, and my mind often goes to the painting by the French artist Millet, The Gleaners, and its depiction of laboring masses. It was a hard life. But as I think about my grandparents, yes, it's hard, but they understood it. They knew the language. They knew the culture. And they left all that. Why? For a better life for themselves? Well, yes, hopefully, but also driven by a hope for a better future for their family, for their son and future children, for their grandchildren, for their great-grandchildren. They were hoping for something that they might never see themselves. And my thoughts go to the founding fathers of this country. John Adams is well known for writing his wife, and those letters are a part of our early documents of this country. And in some of those letters to his wife, he wrote, "I must study politics and war, that our sons may have liberty to study mathematics and philosophy. Our sons ought to study mathematics and philosophy, geography, navigation, commerce, and agriculture in order to give their children a right to study painting, poetry, music, architecture, and porcelain." They all hope for something better, not just for themselves, but for their children, for future generations. Faith for the future, for the next generation and beyond. That's the kind of faith that is commended in this passage. Can we have that kind of faith? To believe that even though we don't receive our promises, we're still going to keep on in that faith. I think about our culture, and I think our culture would call these people fools. because we focus on today, we focus on tomorrow, next week, a year-long goal. That really takes commitment. But these people saw farther, and the reward for their faith, their hope, their trust is beyond imagining, because in it they finally have connection with the holy and infinite God. They have peace with Him and with each other, and they have joy. Can you have that kind of faith? I hope that you do. Blessings on you all.